Okay, I guess we can start. So it is already 1:05 Central European Time. And I thank everyone for attending this webinar, taking the time out of your day and out of your busy schedules to attend this webinar. As we go along, there definitely will be more people joining. But for starters, I would like to give you some webinar agenda rules. So first is for any questions, you can type it in the chat box. But definitely, these questions will be taken into account at the end of the webinar towards the designated Q&A segment. Please mute your microphones to avoid any background noise. And yeah, and for the attendees to be able to concentrate on their discussion. Please use the chat respectfully, keep discussions relevant and professional, and kindly avoid side conversations. Um, there is also no authorized recording of this webinar. This is a private webinar and exclusive webinar held. So please do not do any unsolicited recording. If you experience any technical difficulties, please notify me or the host through the chat, and you can send a message directly. Um, and I guess at the end of the session, you are welcome to provide any feedback. And definitely, this webinar is regarding scholarships. As you know, 2025 is about to end, and this is actually the season where scholarships are having an open call. So we've taken this into account in providing more information about scholarships. And here with me is Stanislav, who has been able to study in different parts of the world. So he has been able to study in the US, in the UK, and even in China through various scholarships that he has gained throughout the years. So over to you, Stanislav, to probably give some introduction about your academic background before moving on to the slides.
Thank you, Lauren. So, hello everybody. Let me tell you a little bit about my academic background. So, I'm originally from Serbia, and I finished the first 3 years of my high school in Serbia, and then I decided to take the fourth and final senior year of high school in the United States, and I did this through an institutional grant by the school I was attending, who funded my whole fourth year of high school there. And this was in Vermont, United States. And then going from there, I got a fully funded scholarship to study in the United States at Trinity College in Hartford, Connecticut, where I studied political science. And it was actually during my time at Trinity, so during my junior year, my third year, that I also got a chance to do two study abroad semesters. One of them was at Sciences Po in Paris, France, and the other one was at the University College of London in the UK. Um, Following my education in the US and Europe, I applied for master's studies in China, and I got accepted to the Yenching Academy of Peking University, which is an international fellowship, fully funded program for 2 years. And there I studied politics and international relations as well. And then finally, my last fellowship that I received was a professional management consulting fellowship in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, which is called the Dubai Business Associates. So basically, throughout these experiences, I've had a lot of encounters and successful cases of winning scholarships, fully funded financial aid packages, fellowships, etc. And I have really a lot of experience in this regard. And I'm also working right now as a college admissions consultant. So I also work regularly with students and other clients to help them get into their choices, their universities, and also to get scholarships. So I think this, will be a good opportunity for you guys to, first of all, learn about what kinds of opportunities are there in Europe, what kinds of scholarships you can look at, but even more importantly than that, you can ask me some questions about how best to apply and whatever you're interested in because I've studied in a lot of these countries and I know how these systems work and I can share some advice. So that's a little bit about me, and I think, Lauren, now we could start with the presentation, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so I'll share the screen, um, and I'll start. Um, you can see the screen, correct?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
So at any point, if anyone has questions, just feel free to drop them in the chat box, and Stanislav and I will cater to them towards the end.
Okay. So let's start. So the first scholarship in this list is the Excellence Eiffel Scholarship. Now, as I said in my introduction, I did spend one semester at Sciences Po in Paris, and even though I didn't attend through this scholarship, I know several people who have, and it's one of the best scholarships that you can get for studying in France, either for the master's or the PhD level. So if you're considering studies in France, this is one of the top resources to consider. The Eiffel Excellence Scholarship. So, like so many other scholarships that are part of this list, this one is backed by the French directly by the government, by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Education, etc. And it's designed, like I said, for master's and doctoral degrees for PhD programs. So here in the bottom of the screen, you will see some important deadlines. As you can see, the deadline is coming up January 8th. So a little bit of time left actually to prepare everything for this. So if you are interested in studying in France, the Excellence Eiffel Scholarship will be of top interest to you. So here are some of the common fields of study that are covered by the Eiffel Scholarship. You can see it's pretty broad. It covers both STEM and humanities and social sciences. And depending on what you're interested in pursuing, there are many options to choose from, and the Excellence Eiffel Scholarship is very accommodating of that. Now, when it comes to the eligibility, it's pretty straightforward. What's required is to be under 29 years of age. And then there is a bit of a different procedure for Sciences Po candidates, so people who are interested in attending Sciences Po, which is that it's important to hold a nationality other than French. So that's all pretty basic. The monthly grant, which is covered, is 1,200 euros, and there are additional benefits on top of that. And this is a pretty standard monthly support that you get by the Excellence Eiffel Scholarship, which is supposed to help you with cost of living as you are pursuing your education in one of these French universities. Um, Now, when it comes to the requirements, you are required to submit your resume or CV, academic transcript, passport, a language test certificate, and the Eiffel Scholarship also has this additional part which is called the professional project. Now, a professional project basically revolves around your ability to explain to the committee how what you are planning to do after you graduate is best supported by the degree that you want to study. So it's a very important piece of the excellence application. And what matters most is your ability to articulate well why you are interested in pursuing your major and how it ties to your future career goals. So, you can imagine how somebody who doesn't really have a clear idea of what they would like to do after the degree or how the degree helps, how that person might not be the best candidate for this scholarship. So, if you are interested in applying for this, you must have a very clear, plan for what you want to study and why, and how the Excellence Eiffel Scholarship is a part of that. So that's for this part. Next up, we have the Erasmus Mundus Joint Master Scholarship, which is personally one of the more interesting ones, in my opinion, because it actually allows you to study at multiple universities at the same time, basically as part of the same degree. I think this is a terrific thing because, personally, I've studied in four countries at four different institutions as part of my bachelor's and master's education, and you just get so much out of this international, multicultural exposure. So it's a very popular choice for people who really want to get the most really out of their education. And especially if you're interested in things like international relations and anything that's really global in nature, this can be a terrific choice for you. So Erasmus Mundus Joint Master's Scholarship. Now, the eligibility, similarly to the French scholarship, is pretty straightforward. You need to have a bachelor's degree or to be in the last year of your bachelor studies graduate program before you want to start your master's program degree. And the EU scholarship that is granted is 1,400 euros per month for a maximum period of 24 months or 2 years. As you can see, is pretty similar to the Eiffel scholarship in the amount, but this is calculated to be sufficient to cover your living costs as you're pursuing your degree and is in line with the standard across the board for many other countries in Europe. So it should cover everything pretty neatly. So when it comes to the requirements, of course, you need to submit your diplomas, your official transcripts. You need to have a CV in the Europass format. Now, the Europass format is the official kind of EU standardized test, or sorry, CV format, and it's a pretty easy thing to create. There's a whole program online that you can use to make one. And you will need, of course, your recommendation letters, your English proficiency exams, which can be either the IELTS or the TOEFL exam, and of course, some technical stuff like your passports, right? So that would be the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship. Now, for those of you that are interested specifically in Germany, the DAAD scholarship is the top choice. And again, think of it as the German equivalent to the Eiffel Excellence Scholarship. The idea is that the German state, their Ministry of Education, Foreign Affairs, and other institutions have created a full program for people such as yourself who want to come to Germany and study in this country. So you will see at the bottom of the screen that the applications deadline is going to be February 2026. So a new call for this scholarship will happen on May 2026. So I think there is a little bit more time for this one in comparison to the Eiffel scholarship. But at any rate, if you're interested in studying in Germany, working in Germany, learning German language, the DAAD scholarship is probably the one of the best things that you could get to support your education and your project for Germany. The fields of study here are covered. Some examples are architecture, fine arts, performing arts, music, but of course, other fields can be considered as well. Concerning eligibility, very similar to other scholarships. They need to see your academic qualifications to see if you're eligible for your chosen course, your nationality, in case the scholarship is connected to a specific country, language proficiency, whether you're going to study in German or English, this matters a lot. And of course, it's important that you have not been in Germany for more than 15 months at the time of your application. So this is ideal for people who are interested in coming to Germany but are not currently there and are not looking to get this scholarship as a way of extending their stay or something like that. It's more for international students who really want to come and again get their degrees in Germany as international students. So this would be the German one. Uh, so when it comes to the requirements, again, very similar to what we've seen already with other programs. So you're gonna look at your CV, letters of motivation. You're gonna have to select the degrees that you're interested in. So you rank them according to your preferences, your transcripts, and things that we've basically already seen with other scholarships as well. So these would be the requirements. Even though I didn't study in Germany, I know people who have. I know people who have received the this scholarship for their education, for language learning. And again, if Germany is something that you're interested in, definitely do check this opportunity out because it can be very, very beneficial if you can get it. Now, moving on to Sweden, and the equivalent of what we've seen for France, for Erasmus Mundus, and for Germany, we have the Swedish Institution Scholarship. The Swedish Institute is the name of the institution, which offers fully funded scholarship for master's level studies in Sweden. So again, the application date, the deadline closes on January 15th, 2026. So kind of similar situation to what we have with the French scholarship, where the deadline is coming up fast. We're talking about basically a little under 2 months. So if you're interested in Sweden, which is a phenomenal country to study and live in, the Swedish Institute Scholarship is again a top choice. If we look at some of the fields of study, again, you have things ranging from public health, business, entrepreneurship, all the way to classical STEM fields, which of course are some of the most in-demand majors in today's job market. When it comes to eligibility, you have to make sure that you are a citizen of one of the 33 eligible countries for the SI Scholarship for Global Professionals. That the master's program in Sweden that you're interested in is indeed eligible for the SI scholarship, that you can demonstrate your work experience, leadership experience, and that you are basically a good fit for what they're looking for. So when it comes to the requirements, they're pretty straightforward, similar to what we've seen across other scholarships. And you can notice that, these things share a lot in common. And this means that, if you can apply for one scholarship, you can apply for many others because they're using pretty much the same materials, more or less. So it's a smart idea to apply across multiple sections if possible. Now moving on to Switzerland, we have the Swiss Government Scholarship. So it's another government affiliated, government backed scholarship for your first master's degree in Switzerland, intended for art students, among other majors. So the duration is 12 months, possibly can be extended up to 21 months, and the start date for the program would be September 1st, 2026. So there are also research scholarships that are a part of this, which are available to postgraduate researchers in any discipline who want to pursue research in any Swiss cantonal university. Now, these should be particularly interesting for people who are interested in STEM-based fields, because Switzerland has some of the best STEM universities in the world, such as ETH in Zurich, among others. So definitely, if you're interested in Europe, if you're interested in a top STEM education, a Swiss government scholarship might be what you're looking for. The scholarship amount is, as you can see, a little bit higher than what we've seen with the French and with the German stipend, but that is, among other things, because Switzerland tends to be more expensive than these other countries. So it's all adjusted for covering basic living expenses for one person, and it's 1,920 Swiss francs, which is above 2,000 euros per month, basic living expense coverage. And here you will see the application deadlines. It's important to mention that these do vary by country, so you have to make sure to check what the deadlines are depending on your nationality and where you're applying for. Now we have the Austria Government Scholarship for those of you interested in Austria as a country for doing your studies, which is another terrific place, especially if you go to Vienna. This scholarship is offered by the Austrian Agency for International Cooperation, and it's aimed for anybody interested in either a bachelor's, master's, or somebody interested in doing their research in Austria. So the deadlines are March and September of each year, and which means that again, there is a little bit more time for this one in comparison to, for example, the French one. And again, we have a pretty broad range of fields of studies that are covered by the Austrian government scholarship. And the eligibility clause here is that you must not have studied or pursued academic work or research in the last 6 months before getting this grant. Kind of similar to what we've seen with the German scholarship, so it's important to be mindful of those. But if you're applying, for the first time for studying in Europe, you shouldn't really be concerned by this at all. So now we're gonna take a look at the NL scholarship. So now it's the Netherlands, formerly known as the Holland Scholarship. And again, it's for people who want to do a bachelor's or master's in the Netherlands. Um, so the deadline is February 1st, 2026 for this one. And again, we have a very broad field of study covered here, ranging from, social sciences, arts, to the classical STEM fields like engineering and tech. Um, and obviously, the NL scholarship will have various Dutch colleges and universities that are part of the scheme. And you will apply, if you're interested in this one, for a full-time bachelor's or master's. Um, and obviously, the entry criteria for the scholarship will depend on the university that you're choosing. And, more or less, the important thing for this one is that you don't have a degree from an education institution in the Netherlands in order to be considered for this one. Again, the requirements pretty standard stuff. We've already seen this with our other scholarships, um, and pretty standard. The next one we have is the VLIR scholarship, which is the Flemish Inter-University Council, which is again just another source of funding and could be considered in conjunction with the NL scholarship as well. Again, the nationality and country of residence candidate should be a national and resident of one of 31 scholarship countries. So it's important to check that out in terms of eligibility. You must be at least or a maximum 35 years old for your first master's and 40 years old for an advanced master's, and you need to uh, be mindful also of the professional background clause, which is that this scholarship gives priority to candidates who are employed in academic institutions, research institutes, governments, social economy, or NGOs. So in case, some of you guys come from this background, this scholarship might be interesting for you because you do get a little bit of a preferential treatment. Uh, Here are the requirements. So, again, pretty standard stuff. Everything that we've seen already for this scholarship, and this brings us to the Q&A section. So,
Great.
uh, the goal of this was to just acquaint you guys with what's available. These are the some of the most famous and well-renowned scholarships in Europe. So if you're interested in any of these countries, this is the where to begin.
Thanks so much, Stanislav. And we will give the floor for them to type any questions. Definitely, this is such a comprehensive list. And if at any point you have more questions after this webinar, you can feel free to email us. We will be dropping our email address after this webinar. But just to start it off, some of the potential or interesting things to know is maybe Stanislav, given that you went through the process, what basically were your key strategies to help you gain the scholarship? Was it a strong profile? Was it extracurricular activities, or was it something out of the ordinary that they eventually awarded you the scholarship?
Yeah. Probably the most important thing that you have to think about is for getting the scholarship is uh, what is the purpose for which you are applying, in the sense of what do you plan to accomplish through this major, and how is the scholarship that you're hoping to get something that will empower that goal moving forward. So again, this is opposite of someone who is applying just for the sake of getting admitted and doesn't really articulate a good story and make themselves appear as somebody who really thought out how they're going to accomplish their goals and why does the scholarship help. So that's the first thing everybody needs to consider as they are applying to these scholarships, is that they must have a really good reason why they're choosing their major and how it's going to help them career-wise. Another thing that really matters is, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but every scholarship that was listed on the list is backed by a government. And the reason why governments do this is because they want to bring people into their country, but then they also want these people to be cultural ambassadors of these particular countries once they're no longer students. So, what you also need to display is some sense of cultural appreciation and awareness of what that country you're going to is like. So I'll give you an example. When I was applying to the Yenching Academy of Peking University in Beijing, China, I knew that this scholarship was part of China's efforts to, bring in people who will then serve as kind of, like they said, bridges between our home countries and China. And it's always a good idea to signal to these institutions that you are bringing in an appreciation for their culture, for their educational system, and that you are interested in, in a certain sense, integrating within this system. That's why, for example, the German fund, the DAAD also funds so much German learning classes for people who study there because their goal is for you to really integrate and experience the culture, and then basically carry that with you as you go along in your life, in your career. So be mindful of that, and it's a good idea to also emphasize this as much as you can. And then I guess the third thing that really matters quite a bit is, make sure that your academic qualifications are really in line with what you want to apply to. Because, ultimately, these scholarships are just there to cover your living expenses as you are studying in that country. But that is kind of separate in a way from your main application, which is academic. So make sure that the classes that you took, the courses that you have, the grades that you got, everything, right, is in line with what you want to study. So make sure you really research the programs you want to attend well, and ensure there's a good compatibility. So those would be, just off the top of my head, some of the things that helped me out the most when I was applying to all these scholarships that I got.
That's amazing. That's actually really great advice, Stanislav. And um, do note that for everyone, definitely there should be a tight, streamlined process towards everything from their grades, from what their previous experiences were, down to the particular master's or bachelor's that they want to gain a scholarship for. Um, Quite interesting. Were Are there any common mistakes or errors that they should avoid? Like anything to note that they should avoid?
Yeah. So, one common mistake that I see with applications for scholarships is, again, just really talking a lot about, yourself and the fact that you are so interested in this particular field. That is good. It's good to demonstrate interest, but ultimately, it's more of an American thing rather than an European. In Europe, they want to see exactly how and why you're qualified for the major that you're choosing and what your plans are moving after. So a common mistake is to look at things from the angle of, how am I benefiting from this? And, why do I care about it? Whereas, you should be thinking about it from the standpoint of what are the things that I want to accomplish, how are those things connected to what this institution wants to do? And how can we kind of support each other in a sense in what we're trying to do, right? So you have to really think about this, and when you're writing your personal statement and when you're trying to articulate your reason why, you really need to not just, again, discuss why you're interested in something. Of course, that should be a part of it, but then you need to go beyond it and really articulate what your goals with it are down the road and how the scholarship is really an essential piece of that. So I see a lot of people missing that, and then it results in them not articulating their intentions well, and again, looking like candidates who don't really have it all figured out yet. So that's a thing to avoid for sure.
We have a question, I guess. Is work experience a requirement mandatory for all the scholarships or other scholarships in general?
Yeah, yeah. So, the in terms of the work experience, so these are academic subjects and academic scholarships. So in general, your academic scholarships will not require work experience because it's not a job. So that requires you to be experienced in a certain way in order to work at it. However, so it's not required. However, this doesn't mean that it's not important. So, your work experience can actually be, a very important part of your reason why you're choosing to study a particular master's program, for example. Uh, and especially because they're then going to ask you, okay, so what are your career plans moving forward after that master's degree? So if you're able to tie your work experience with the master's degree that you're going to get and then articulate on what you plan to do after, then having really, relevant work experience can definitely work in your favor. So, to just summarize, it's not required, as in, candidates below 2 years of experience cannot apply or whatever. It's not required, but make the best use of the experience that you have. If you have any, it's not required to have it either. But if you do have it, it's something that you can articulate as being a part of the reason why you want to study a particular master's program or a PhD program or whatever it is that you're looking for.
Amazing. Okay. Okay. There's now coming. Can Open University student who finish their bachelor's degree can also apply for their master's? Yes, I believe so. When they're done with their bachelor's, they can apply and go straight to taking their master's and gone for any particular scholarship, if that what the Mansi uh, meant. I guess for the last question, or maybe, yeah, down to a couple last questions for me. What kind of helped you like monitor all the scholarships that you applied into? Like, were there any tools or were there any kind of tips or tricks that you did towards the process just to remember all the requirements and if you've already submitted all of them? Or was there any project management tool or some or checklist or something of this sort that helped you kind of stay on track um, with the scholarships?
Yeah, so I used to have a Google Doc where I would list all the scholarships and all the programs that I'm interested in. And I would do a lot of, self-accounting to really give myself deadlines and to kind of project manage myself in a way. And I guess the most important thing that I got out of it is that it is a pretty complex and kind of like a long process,
Mhm.
but what helps the most is really taking it step by step and separating it into many different phases and with where each one has its own goal, because then it really feels much more manageable and really doable. So that would be the approach that I would take. uh, of course, we've just covered or scratched the surface really when it comes to the scholarships that are out there. I mean, there are so many different programs, and these scholarships and these institutions have so many rules and regulations depending on what kind of program that you want to attend, and so on and so on. So, what I would recommend is that really, if any of you guys are interested in applying, it's always a good idea to reach out to really a qualified professional for this line of work, such as Laura, uh, because it is really an important investment in your future. And winning these kinds of scholarships can really make a big difference. It's not just about saving tens of thousands of dollars in living costs. It's also about becoming part of a really good community once you're affiliated with some of these scholarships, and they can really help with career growth. And it's just a really important part of the whole process of getting your degrees. So it's very important to get the right help and resources if you can, and um, that's why it's a good idea to reach out and to learn more about what we've discussed today.
Okay, great. Amazing. So we've come down to the last part of our webinar, wherein whoever is interested of asking for help or asking for assistance with their scholarship admissions, they can go ahead and email hello@lara-edtech.com. This is a team that will be dedicated to helping you stay on track with your scholarship admissions and requirements, and basically put together the whole project management journey of you gaining these scholarships. Given that Stanislav has been able to share all the requirements, the timeline, and you can see that this is actually the season where the scholarships are like being open, and there's already like an open call for admissions. We really urge everyone who is really seriously interested in studying abroad to take charge and consider starting the process as well. And if at any point they need the assistance or they need help, yes, you can email hello@laraedtech.com. Just say that you came from today's webinar and you would like further assistance towards the scholarship process. So this has been a great informative discussion, in large part to Stanislav. And if there are no more questions, we can conclude this webinar. And we thank everyone who has been able to spare their time in, taking charge of their dreams as well. So this has been Lauren and this has been Stanislav. Watch out for upcoming webinars like this and have a great day, everyone. Thank you all. Hey Stanislav, just checking if you're still here.
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks again. Thanks so much. I didn't get to tell you or message you that if you could stay on for quite a bit, but yeah, it has been a successful one. You provided such a comprehensive explanation to each. It can get a little, tiring towards the end because, yeah, there's just so many. But I thank you again for, taking the time to help discuss, and it really shows like this is something that you've really gone through the process and you're really knowledgeable about it. Yeah, and I look forward to probably doing a couple more like this because and there was another one from the team that was there that really came up with the slides and everything, and if you have any improvements you want to share with the slides, we can definitely take that into account and do it the next webinar. But yeah, so far so good, I guess. Or any you want to share, if something you that we can improve on or something like this.
No, no, I think, it was like I said during our first call, I really loved the design of the presentation. It looked really nice and its purpose is just to familiarize the audience with what's out there, some of the options, the most popular ones that are available, and I think, whoever saw it can get a sense of that. And yeah, I think it was great. I hope you were satisfied with my
Yeah. Yes, for sure. Like I was already thinking, oh, I hope he's not so tired, like from speaking like the next 30 minutes. But you were able to like walk them through and give the details required for each, like without like making it sound boring, because they are a lot and they can be a little monotonous, but you've kind of come up with it with a way that's like,
Yeah, I hope that they reach out to you though, because these applications, because they are state affiliated, they're government sponsored, they can be a bit complicated to complete. So I hope that they reach out to you and that you can support them directly, because things like this, I guess, are good for some surface level info. But what I learned through my work is that people really benefit truly from this kind of like one-on-one in-depth work. So hopefully some of them will use this as an opportunity to reach out to you and make that.
for sure. Yeah, I was also really like looking to see how it can really be something of worthwhile to them.
Yeah.
And I know you've done it like a lot with your previous companies and such. And mine is definitely it's just starting out like in a way the admissions consulting or scholarship consulting. A huge part of our process was from like student visa, but from the Philippines specifically.
Yeah.
So that could be interesting. Definitely on the scholarships um, side, like the first part of the process, essentially to study abroad, which is
Oh,
really related to this.
completely agree. I think these are very, very connected things. And if you can provide like a comprehensive service where you cover all of these aspects into one, it can be very attractive for the parents, because, ultimately they just want someone who can handle this huge project, because it can get so overwhelming and so confusing for them. So it's definitely a cool market.
Do you cater from the clients that you've come across? Do majority of them are parents? Are there majority of them parents, or like as I've come across like having to talk to parents even more than the students themselves sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, most of for example, the company that I'm currently working with, it's primarily caters to high school students who attend really prestigious private high schools and who want to study abroad. So the client really then is the parent, not the kid. The kid is being told what to do by the parent in most of the cases, right?
Yeah.
Then there's like this small majority of people who are older, like they want to they already finished their bachelor's degree and now they want to do a master's program. So that's a different story. That's a little bit more of a self-initiated thing. But most important are the parents, and then they want a project manager more than anything, because again, for them, the process is just like so complicated because you have so many aspects of, the what the major is gonna be, what's the best school, the standardized testing, the language exams, the financial aid aspect of it all, scholarships. I mean, there's just so much. Then the travel arrangements, the visas, everything. So I think that's the most in demand product is like a full service where you can just like do the whole thing like a like an all-inclusive package mostly.
Mhm. Great. Amazing. Yeah. Definitely I'll even learn even from you from just this the webinar. And yeah, I hope I could still reach out to you. I mean,
Yeah,
it was just so do you in any chance have WhatsApp or
yeah, 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 I do. Here's my number. I'll write it here.